So just a little bit about me. Anyone that knows me, my most obvious gift, or the first gift to manifest, is art. Art has always been my hobby from day one. And but when I was in school, later on, when I was about 15, my teacher, and it was my art teacher, said to me, "You're good at art, but as a career, you're not really going to make a lot of money from art."
Wow.
See, teachers have got to be careful with this.
Yes.
That's what it teaches.
And that totally derailed me, because although I liked art, I'm a very ambitious person. So the idea of not making money did not appeal to me. So I chose to do electronics, because you can't go wrong with electronics, with emerging technology in those days. And so I studied electronics for 7 years to degree level. I have letters after my name, BEng, Bachelor's Engineering, in electronics. But to this day, I can't fix a kettle. And the reason for that is that when I graduated, I could not get a job.
Yeah.
And there was a recession on at that time. So I fell back on what I knew, and that was art. And I started developing that. I started off in fashion, and I had my own urban clothes label. I used to design my clothes, and I had someone that made up clothes for me. I used to go into barber shops and sell t-shirts with my designs on. You could see me down at the carnival. I was at exhibitions. I even had a fashion show and everything like that. And then I graduated from that into merchandising, and I worked with a lot of music bands and even gospel choirs and all different rock bands and different things like that. And I used to design their t-shirts for concerts and get it all printed, and their hats and embroidery, everything like that. So I was moving on in art, but I was also conscious that, I've studied electronics for 7 years, and I don't want to waste my degree. And my uncle, who was into telecommunications, he was helping me to set up my business so that I can get contracts doing communications and electronics. So 2 things was happening. I was moving and progressing in art, but also as well, the electronics things were starting to come into play. And it came to a point where I was at a crossroad. I really didn't know what to do, because I liked art, and that was my obvious passion, but I didn't want to waste my degree. So I wanted to know, what do I do? I was at a crossroad. And at that time, I went to a meeting, and there was a Bahamian pastor who was just getting to be well known. This was in 93 or 94. A Bahamian pastor was having a meeting there in Tottenham, and his name was Dr. Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe. And he was just emerging at the time. He had a book out called Releasing Your Potential. Yeah. And so I went to that meeting, young man, and he said something that changed my life. He said, "Your gifts and your purpose has been given to you by God." Your gifts and your talents have been given to you by God for a divine purpose.
Amen.
And that, we can take that for granted now, because the message of purpose and divine purpose has really got out there. But at that time, it was very in its infancy, and that blew my mind, that God had a purpose for me, and it was tied to my gifts, to this art I do, my passions, that could be used. For me, it's like, okay, anything to do with God, then it must be like a pastor, you know, that kind of thing, the fivefold ministry. But as an artist, how could that have a divine purpose? But then when I got that, when I embraced that, then I said, if that is the case, then to do anything else would be a waste of my time. Anything that is not according to my purpose or my passion is a waste of my time. And so therefore I went down the road of art, and then the Lord gave me a concept of a magazine, a gospel events magazine called Spread the Word, and that was the first official gospel events magazine, and a lot of the churches started to advertise their products in it, and not their events in there. But what was also good is that in the advertising, I would also include my designing, because when I looked at, because for a while I was doing a lot of club flyers as well, but then when I looked at the church flyers, I saw no excellence. I looked at it and I said,
Keep it real,
this is not, you know, if this came through my door, this church thing, there's nothing in here that will compel me,
It's true.
you know, to come. You know, it's on green paper,
Keep it real,
you know, printed or pink, and it's got this
True.
clip art, whereas I'm doing these club designs on glossy leaflets, and at that time, you know, you put half-naked girls on there, and, you know, and it just looked like that's the place to be and stuff like that. So I did all that kind of stuff. So I said no. I said, what? And the only great designs that I saw was from the bigger churches who could afford it.
Yes.
So I had a vision at that time that I want to looking at the image of the church and how it presents itself in the marketplace. And I want everyone to be head and shoulders. So you would not know, it could be a small ministry, but it will look as top-notch as the big ministry. And so Spread the Word kind of unified a lot of the ministries, so that anyone looking at it, you know, they would just see excellence, and it was just all about excellence. So from there, it went from the magazine publishing, and then doing a lot of the design work and the branding for the churches, and then book publishing as well. So it just kept expanding until, but also as well, there was also another calling that was coming out, which was for teaching and for coaching. And I confused that, especially the coaching element, for pastoring. And I was very much pressured into pastoring and becoming a pastor, okay, and even ordained as such. But really and truly, I found that when I discovered coaching and into that personal development realm, that's where I found my calling.
Yes.
That's where it really burst into me, because I found another passion apart from art, is that I am passionate about people succeeding in life. Amen. Okay? I'm as passionate about people succeeding as I'm passionate about my own success.
Oh, brilliant.
Equally so. I love to hear rags to riches stories, people overcoming adversity. I love to hear that. And if I can help and be a part of that,
Wonderful.
wonderful. That's why I like coaching, because the first thing I learned about coaching is very future orientated. It's different from counseling, where counseling would help you to dig up your past and relive your past, and you all have a crying pity party about it. I'm not interested in your past. I'm only interested in your past if it helps you with your future. I'm interested in your future. I want to know how you can get from A to B and give you tools to help you get from A to B forward, not looking back. That's how I see myself. And it's come to a point now where the artistry and the creativity and the coaching is now coming together. I didn't see how it would but it's now coming together.